Imagine a civilization so advanced that it could rival some of the greatest cities of today. And yet, it disappeared into the pages of history with barely a trace. I'm talking about the Indus Valley Civilization. If you haven't heard of it, you're not alone. Most people haven't. But what if I told you that this ancient society, which existed over 4,500 years ago, had sophisticated urban planning, complex trade networks, and even indoor plumbing? Yeah, this isn't your typical ancient ruins in the desert story. Welcome back to Turn Back Time. In this series, we're unraveling the secrets of ancient civilizations, societies that laid the foundation for how we live today. Without their innovations, the world as we know it would look very different. So, let's dive into one of the most groundbreaking moments in history, the first urban revolution. So, who were these mysterious people? The Indus Valley Civilization, or Harappan Civilization, as it's also called, flourished around 3,300 to 1,300 BCE in the northwestern regions of South Asia, covering parts of modern-day India, Pakistan, and Afghanistan. It grew around the mighty Indus River, which, like many ancient civilizations, provided fertile land and a steady water supply. Think of it as the Nile of South Asia, but with a lot less pyramids and a lot more, well, mysteries. At its peak, the Indus Valley Civilization covered an area larger than ancient Egypt and Mesopotamia combined. We're talking about over 1,500 settlements, some of which were sophisticated cities like Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro. These cities weren't just slapped together with mud bricks. Oh no, they had straight streets in a grid system, multi-story buildings, and complex drainage systems that make you wonder if they had access to some ancient version of Google Maps. Here's where things get even more mysterious. The Indus people had a script, a language, but here's the catch: we still can't read it. Despite hundreds of inscriptions found on seals, pottery, and other objects, their writing system remains undeciphered. It's like the universe's oldest unsolved puzzle. So if any of you out there think you're good at cracking codes, this could be your life's work. No pressure. Now, what about their religion and daily life? We know that they built large public baths, likely for ritual purification, but there's no evidence of temples like you'd see in Egypt or Mesopotamia. Instead, small figurines and symbols suggest they worship natural elements, fertility, and possibly a proto-version of Shiva, a major deity in Hinduism. So, while their religious practices are mostly speculation, it's clear they had a strong spiritual life. Indus people lived pretty peaceful lives, farming, trading, crafting. Archaeologists have even found toys like carts and dice, which tells us that they weren't all business all the time. They knew how to have fun too. And let's face it, any civilization with dice games was probably familiar with losing a lot of money to bad bets. Some things never change. Here's where the mystery deepens. Around 1900 BCE, the Indus Valley Civilization began to decline. Cities were abandoned and the population dispersed. But why? Some theories point to climate change, possibly a shift in the course of rivers or prolonged drought. Others suggest internal strife or invasions by nomadic tribes. But honestly, we don't really know. It's one of history's great unsolved mysteries. They didn't leave a note saying, BRB, relocating to a better spot. They just vanished. Today, all that's left of this advanced civilization are ruins. Ruins that suggest an urban sophistication that was millennia ahead of its time. And while we've uncovered a lot, there are still more questions than answers. So what can we learn from the Indus Valley Civilization? For starters, history is full of civilizations that seemed unstoppable, but eventually crumbled, often leaving behind more questions than answers. But they also show us that human ingenuity is nothing new. Advanced urban planning, international trade, even a focus on hygiene. These people were pioneers in so many ways. And maybe that's the real lesson. Civilizations come and go, but the impact they leave behind can shape the future. So, the next time you use indoor plumbing, give a little thanks to the ancient Indus Valley. You might owe more to them than you realize. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and stay tuned for episode 2 of Ancient Civilizations next week. Until next time, stay curious.